Hello, I'm Kevin26, and welcome to the brand new SMP, the X-Bros SMP. Now, this isn't how I usually do things, as I'm recording this after the fact, as a lot of the time here was just setting up my base and stuff, and overall I spent most of it just talking, and I didn't actually record the call because not everyone, in fact, no one who managed to make the premiere, I guess, of the server, the people who make videos other than me. Yeah. With two of the members not being able to join for one reason or another. So, overall, instead of what I'd normally do, I'd rather go over what I did do as well as what this is. And I guess I'll start with the members, as there's 3 who do YouTube and 3 who don't. The 3 recording members are me, Diobro, and please forgive me if I mispronounce this, it's Caden Generic. I'll just be using the gamer tags for everyone else, just for privacy reasons. So we have Catalyst Gamer, Yoda, and Cool Toast. Overall, for what I was doing, not much happened as, well, I was the only one setting base while everyone else, instead of making a base, decided to explore, and overall actually got good stuff. For this one episode, we also had it on peaceful just so we could get some stuff set up. I used my time to help me set up my base, which I think is what I'm gonna get into next. As after I found the spot I wanted to build my base, I decided that for my starter base, I wanted to remake the tree base that I had made back in Kevcraft Survival. The old survival SMP I did with just Diobro, and was barely an SMP, and is basically what this is a continuation in a way, but with more people. Overall, the reason I'm doing the recording or voice pads like this is because I didn't have anything really interesting happen, and for the most part, I was just kind of getting to know everyone else, and that would only be one side of the conversation you would actually hear. But not even one side, 1/4. But yeah. If everything I wanted to just talk about it in posts as to have this be somewhat compelling. And overall, because really it was just the normal startup stuff, kind of a deal with Minecraft. I wasn't already set up. I had to build everything for the base, is just so we could even get started, and no one had done anything yet, and there was really nothing exciting to go do. So that couldn't be done. Overall, I would love to do more interesting stuff. Maybe do some mini games, and probably do other stuff too. You never know when we have a group of 6 people. Just the fact that I had only met one of the people who could make it today, or rather the day this was recorded, which is also the day I'm recording this part. And I still, as of now, have not met one of the members. Overall, not a lot happened in this first session. I spent pretty much all of my time building the base, and getting to know everyone, as I had said, so I didn't have any really interesting commentary, and because I was just gathering wood the entire time, or building. and it's not even a brand new building. It's a recreation of an old base with some new modifications for this new world. Speaking of, there was really one reason that mostly I wanted to do this, and I'd also like to give a huge thank you to the Yobro, because they are the person who actually knew people. In fact, he was the only person who knew everyone going into this SMP. But with everything, the main reason I wanted to do this is because Minecraft gets boring with with only one player, and two is much better, gives much more room for screwing around, but overall is still more limited than having a ton of people, because with a ton of people, there's a ton of stuff you can do around the world to still have interesting things going on. You can have mini games, potentially even storylines and stuff like that going on. You can do stuff like some kind of event. Overall, this is just more fun for everyone involved, and that's kind of the point, is having something that can be fun for everyone involved. I will say that there was an adventure, but ironically, out of it, I was the only one not involved in the ongoing adventure, as literally everyone else had found an ancient city, still unpeaceful. But the entire time I'd spent working on my starting base, and overall, I didn't make a ton of progress. Well, that's not true. I got most of the base finished, and I just need to build the lower walls and get a roof over it made of various leaves from cherry trees, which, by the way, is probably my favorite new thing they've added in the update. But overall, there wasn't a ton that happened from my end, which kinda sucks. And hopefully we can have a lot of just various fun things happen, as there's a lot of stuff that can be done with this many people. There's a lot of different mini games that could be built, which I'm hoping is the case. I know I'm certainly going to be making some, and also a bunch of other things that could happen, and I'm just kind of excited to see what does happen, which is all part of the fun, is just what will everyone else do too. You know what your plans are, but you don't know what anyone else is planning. I have my own plans, and this isn't meant to be my permanent final base that I am even building this entire first episode. And in fact, I fully plan on making a completely different main base, as this is kind of the equivalent to the starting house I had back in Kevcraft, to call back to that yet again, and then the new base that I'm going to build later on is going to be the equivalent to the castle I had back then. And while this is a returning build, don't expect that to be. I'm also not going to be making the ship that I was going to make before I finished up Kevcraft, as honestly, that did kind of just end up getting stale over time and not as fun. Mostly because I already had everything, so it's like, it feels like a new game plus with no features in all reality. What I was doing, where, yeah, I was starting from new, but I had all of my gear from before. So was I really starting anew? Not really, and that's why I compared it to New Game Plus, because of course, yeah, it's like, because it is That's basically what it was. Heck, there was already another portal, and the Ender Dragon was already dead in that because it was the same world. We never did everything. For example, we never tried and killed the Wither, but we easily could have in doing another bunch of episodes would not have been necessary when we could have just done that right away. And that's the big thing. It overall got boring for the old world because there was not much left to do. And what there was left to do was not something that we had to do. There was no challenge anymore because we've already pretty much done everything. And that's the main reason I wanted to start fresh with a new SMP with more people. There's not only just more stuff to do, but there would be a new beginning and we wouldn't have pretty much everything already done. And that's the big reason this SMP ended up happening. I love Minecraft, I really do, and that's another reason I didn't want to stop making Minecraft videos. And there's adventure maps are fun. They're another way to do more Minecraft videos, but they're limited. There's not going to be infinite things you can do. There's not infinite adventure maps, and especially on Bedrock, there isn't. Overall, and I didn't want to just make a common Let's Play because Minecraft isn't all that well suited to a Let's Play format that I typically do on this channel. That is the big things. The grandest reasons for making the SMP. And yeah, it's simple, but it is why it is being made. At the end of the day, we're just a bunch of people who really like playing Minecraft together. Or more accurately, a bunch of people who really like playing Minecraft with people, given that most of us have never met before this, but hey, we seem to get along well. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I could do in Minecraft and I want to do, and as I said, Minecraft as a whole doesn't blend well to Let's Play formula, in my opinion at least, because there's infinite things you can do, pretty much, and really, it's just a case of, there's like, and while yes, there is a finite end point, that being the literal end, there isn't, there's still stuff after that that you could consider post-game, namely the Outer End Islands, and that's something that can't easily be quantified. What counts as post-game? And how much, because like, the Elytra is still a big part of how the game is played nowadays. And probably a little overpowered, but you have to beat one of the biggest bosses. I won't say the hardest boss, because the Warden exists now, but the final boss, effectively, of Minecraft, to get it. So at that point, really, you're already really strong, so it doesn't really matter that there's such a great item, because you're already good enough that it's more convenient than anything. And there's not a lot of rules for this, other than don't make any totem farms, because totems of Undying are good on their own, and getting them without having to lift a finger is too good in my opinion, which is why we banned that. But other than that, it's just kind of stuff you'd expect. So this really is just a bunch of people coming together and playing Minecraft. Bedrock, to be more specific, which is another thing, because there's like almost no SMPs on Minecraft Bedrock. Which, if I'm being honest, I find slightly weird because that's the version that has cross-platform. It's the version that everything is, except whereas Java is only on PC. But that's not what this video is about. Overall, this was just me getting started, and this isn't what I typically do. Typically, it's a lot more dumb jokes, and also just I tend to be someone who laughs very easily, as you can probably tell. But yeah, this is what the SMP is all about. Just coming together and doing Minecraft and experiencing the new update too, because I had not experienced it. In fact, new is relative to newest is probably more accurate, and in fact, I hadn't played Minecraft since, like, I probably, other than the adventure map video I did a little while back, I probably haven't touched Minecraft since I had made the last Kevcraft episode. As overall, it's not a ton of fun. Or more accurately, not a ton of fun when you're on your own. It's a ton of fun with people. Yeah, this is what this was all about. And I still wanted to make this the start, as while there's a lot more of a can and are going to do, this was just kind of me building. There was no any kind of subplot going on, which is something we're definitely going to be doing in the future, because goodness knows if nothing's going to make us interesting on its own, I'm going to make something interesting. And there's still a lot of exploring to do, a lot of various things that can be done that will make things even more just fun and just interesting to watch, which is another important part, is both the creation end and the viewing end. Having to look at that too when doing stuff. What's the point of making an episode if nothing interesting happens? Which is exactly why I'm doing this post commentary, because nothing did happen that was interesting, because it was the very start of a game that has no plot, which normally wouldn't mean much, but the fact that there's no plot and it's a survival game means there's really not anything to show for the first little bit, because the entire time I was building my base, and in fact, I did not even finish it before we finished the session. So, yeah, I still have to. I finished the building up, but I still have to finish the walls. I have to put the roof on it. I have to get all of the logs and leaves needed for that. And overall, just there's a lot of stuff I still have yet to do. And that's always going to be the interesting thing, is working on stuff, making new stuff, making stuff better, that sort of thing. And that's going to be the challenge with this, but I fully intend to do things just overall and see how things end up, when there's a lot of stuff that can be done with more people. We could do mini games, which is already one big thing that we couldn't really easily do before in the old world. That could be a ton of fun. And there's other stuff too, for sure. I'm hoping we get some form of subplot from someone. The stuff we can build off of, and just eventually reach some kind of climax where the whatever it is comes to an end in some way and it's entertaining for everyone involved. Because that's the big thing. Because it's not fun for anyone if just every single time we do stuff, we're just blowing everyone up. That's not fun for the people involved, and honestly, not what anyone involved really would want, as there's a lot of fun stuff that can be done with the player area numbers being higher, which is the big thing we keep coming back to, because that is the big thing with the series. With the new SMP, there's more people, and thus more things that can be done, and probably stuff I've not even thought of. And then there's also other people doing their own thing, and stuff happening with that, and everyone interacting in different ways. That's all I really have to point out, though. And being honest, I've dragged this on for a while, even still, but that's my main reason for making this. And this isn't, and I hope everyone, I want to thank everyone for checking out this first episode, even if it ultimately isn't much. And there will be more interesting things, as next time I don't plan on spending the entire episode and session building my base in the future, because that's already going to be built, and continuing work on it more liberally probably in future sessions, so I don't have, and especially when we get to the big base, because if I work on the whole thing right away, there's not going to be a ton of fun to have involved with it, and overall there's going to be a lot of stuff needed for the new base, and I think that's going to be exciting. Just overall finding all the various biomes, new biomes to the SMP that we hadn't found yet, finding really cool structures and stuff like I can't think of a good example off the top of my head. I like once we reach the Nether, stuff like having it like everyone going to like raid a bastion or Nether fortress so we can go to the end eventually, and probably having everyone come together to go fight the Ender Dragon whenever that comes around, which regardless it's probably going to be in the far future, but and it's still something worth mentioning, as I'm excited to see that climax too, and this time I plan to be a lot more involved in the fight, because that's another thing I disliked in the Cavcraft. The entire fight, the one who was doing like the episodic recording, because the Obo was doing it live, I was not really in the fight at all, and was instead just always going breaking the crystals, and that's another thing I want this SMP to like be better at, and I guess almost fix some of the stuff that didn't work out, not just or was not as good as it could be, not just in Cavcraft Survival, but the other SMPs I was in, which is none of them ended up lasting a long time, and there were a few good reasons. Because of different time zones, I was never available when everyone else was, and thus never actually could show up for anything, because I was always busy when everyone else was not. And same goes for the Obro too, in those situations. Overall, just there's a lot of stuff that didn't work out with those, such as commands being used, which is why this world is very specifically made so that we can still get achievements. Because that was not possible in the old SMP worlds. And because of that, and really most things that make it so you can't get achievements also make it less fun and by far less interesting to watch. And that's why I'm not going to be using any of that. And I mean no shade to everyone who are involved in those old SMPs, as I thoroughly did enjoy my short time in them, but I want this to be something that lasts longer. I now, though, have this blabbed on for way too long, and I've mentioned this before, but I promise this time I'm actually going to stop. So I'm just gonna say thank you so much for checking out this first, I guess, kind of first episode. It's less of an episode, more of an intro. In fact, I'm probably gonna, title this episode 0 or something like that. And I hope you will check back for when things really get started. We start doing more interesting and fun parts of Minecraft and some less fun parts of Minecraft. And overall, hopefully next time when we get more, you'll have most of the people online. Or at the very least have the people who could not be here in this first session be online for that. And overall, just have a better time, I guess. I don't know. Regardless, thank you for checking out this first episode. And I hope you'll check back for when we get to the more fun aspects of Minecraft and we have more, and it's more interesting stuff going on. And until then, I've been Kevin36, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye!